I'm going to ask you a big favour tonight. Have a look at this video and tell me what you think. It's really important that we get these messages out there and people start to understand what's going on globally. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.
I want to clear something up today, and it's a big bone of contention in the global food security debate, especially when it comes to the ongoing battle between those who think we should only be eating plants and those who think it's okay to eat animals too. You see, whenever you raise concerns about global crop production, things like carcinogenic chemicals, soil degradation, falling nutrient density, or even human rights abuses in agricultural labour, plant-based advocates have a pretty standard comeback. Most crops are grown to feed animals, not people. Now let me be blunt. That is complete and utter bollocks. There is no credible source anywhere that confirms the claim that we're diverting the majority of edible crops from humans to animals in a way that causes food scarcity. So what's the deal? You'll find some widely circulated stats online, like this one that comes from Gates-funded Our World in Data, aka the Vegan Bible. Only 55% of the world's crops are used to directly feed humans, and 36% are used to feed livestock. The implication? That people are starving because we're wasting food on animals. But that's a huge distortion of what's actually happening in the global food system. When people say 36% of crops are fed to animals, they don't tell you that the vast majority of that is inedible to humans. A major study commissioned by the FAO in 2017 confirmed that 86% of what is fed to livestock cannot be eaten by people. We simply feed them leftovers from what's harvested for us. Let me give you an example. Okay, so if we take some crops, so like when you harvest wheat, corn, or broccoli, for example, only a fraction of the plant ends up on your plate. The rest, the stalks, leaves, husks, roots, stems, and other parts we simply don't or can't eat, are left behind. But that waste doesn't just vanish. It's often turned into livestock feed. Even in ultra-processed foods like breakfast cereals, snack bars, even plant-based burgers, the ingredients are stripped, refined, and filtered down to a fraction of their original form. Everything left behind, that's usually turned into feed or fuel. Now, let's look at one of the most controversial crops, soy. You'll often hear 80% of the world's soy is used for animal feed, but that's not true. FAO data states that 90% of soy is grown for soy oil production. You know, the stuff that's in engine lube or spread on your toast. The meal that's fed to animals is what's left over after the oil extraction. It's a byproduct, not the purpose. So is it used for feed? Yes. Is it grown for feed? Absolutely not. Same goes for corn in the US, where a large portion is used to make ethanol. But after the ethanol is extracted, what's left, called distillers' grains, is used as high protein livestock feed. Again, a byproduct. These systems are integrated. Modern agriculture is designed to reduce waste, not generate it. And here's something even more surprising. We currently raise and feed around 30 billion animals globally, and we do it mostly on what we can't eat. If we didn't feed those leftovers to animals, we'd be left with a massive global food waste problem. That waste would rot, emitting methane, take up landfill space, and pollute the environment. So instead of depriving people of food, livestock systems are actually upcycling waste into highly valuable nutrition. And this brings us to something incredible. Animals can turn low quality, plant-based material into nutrient-dense food for humans. So when you get idiots barking on about how we should cut out the middleman, so to speak, and eat grains directly, or that if animals get their nutrients from plants, so can we. No, it doesn't work like that. Animals, especially ruminants, have a specialized digestive system that manufactures key nutrients. The human digestive system doesn't do this, which is why we need to eat meat. If you look at the nutrients in corn compared to beef, it's easy to see that the end product, meat, is much more nutrient dense than what is fed to the cattle. Eating is not just about calories. There are critical nutrients that many populations around the world struggle to get because they are not eating enough meat. So rather than depriving people of food, Livestock are doing an absolutely fantastic job of turning what we can or don't want to eat into an essential source of nutrition.